So welcome you all to this video lecture. So here we are going to discuss regarding to the topic related to the previous topics discussed regarding to the direct memory access, system bus, all those things. Now we are going to discuss regarding to that the topic named the hardware components. So what are the things of the hardware components is get been related over to there from how the DMA to the processor hardware. So in previous video we discussed, which means that we have said how a data transfer, which means that a data can be transferred between so IO device and a memory using a DMA, direct memory access. We saw that the DMA will reduces what the continuous involvement of the processor during large data transfer. So now again we are going to take that thing processor. So now that processor again we are going to discuss, again we are going to check, or again we are going to analyze. So which means that already we have discussed regarding topics such as instruction execution, fetch, decode, execute sequence. But one thing we need to get questions, or which means the one thing we need to get think over here is what are the actual hardware components inside the processor. So how those process in that processor that performs is what these operations, which means that these functions such as to understand the instruction execution clearly. So we now need to get thing that, which means that we need to get study over this the main hardware components as parts. So the normal basic hardware component organization deals with this register files, ALU, and the data path, and the instruction sections. So this register file, what will do, it stores the data. SD stores the data. So ALU performs as the data, and the control unit will do what, so the ALU path and the instruction which will do what, it will performs the control operation. The important point is that the instruction execution is the result of the coordination between all the hardware components such as registers, ALU, and control unit. So in that control unit is a combination of the data path and the instruction fetch sections. So the next is the program counter. So already we also discussed regarding to this program counter, fetch, ALU operations is all this. So just simply says us what the hint I'm going to discuss or tell here is the program counter controls the sequence what in which the instruction normally need to get fetched, whereas the IR instruction register will tells us the, which means that the counter tells the processor where to find the next instruction, while the instruction register holds us what the instruction that currently being processed. So the next thing we need to get detailed information is, with detailed discussion, is this register file. Suppose I'm having a register named R4 and R5. So R4 has a 20 as a value, R5 has a 30 as a value. So now I need to get move this process a value to the R3. It performs what operation? Arithmetic operation, add. So now we have the definition of this register file. The processor also what contains the collection of registers used to store the operands and the intermediate results, right? So this is what the register file. So register file is nothing that a processor contains what, a collection of registers. Why it contains a collection of registers? In order to store the operands and the immediate results. So these registers provides the high speed storage inside the processor. Instead of repeatedly accessing the main memory, and processor can keep frequently required what, the data inside the register. So that has been executed with respect to this instruction add R3, R4, and R5. So this R4 and R5 communicate to ALU, Arithmetic Logic Unit. From ALU, it will gives the result in the R3. So the register file is therefore that it provides us what, input data required by the ALU, and also store the result produced by the processor. So the next is the dual port register files. So the dual port register file is nothing that here the instruction specifies what, which register have to be read. So these register numbers are called as a register address or register identifiers. So the thing is here, the with respect to the previous problem, add R3, R4, R5. So R3 and R4 are the read data, which these are the register files. So automatically the instruction specifies which registers had to be read. So after reading this register number can be used as a register address. So automatically after reading this, it will write the operations in the destination register R3. So next is the ALU. So this arithmetic logic unit performs as what? So here the A add is the ALU. So automatically the ALU receives the inputs from the operand from the registers and performs the operation, which means that operation specified by the instruction. In the instruction, what it has been mentioned, add. So it automatically the result is then sent to the required destination address. The destination address is the R3. So ALU performs as what? ALU receives the input operands from the register and perform the operation specified by the instruction. So then the result is then sent to the required destination. So input selections with respect to that of multiple path architecture, which means that of multiplexers. So thing is that, like for an example, the arithmetic logic unit may receive one operand from a register and another from operand either from the another register or from a immediate value or using this immediate access value, immediate address. So the automatically the multiplexer selects the correct input based on the instruction being to be get instructed or means that to get executed. So the next is this is the data plot of the instruction fetch source and ALU memory access and destination register. How these things has get been evolved over in the process is the stage 3 and 3, 4 and 5 computation multiplexer and the receiving options. So the next is the thing which we need to get perform or we need to get discuss over here with respect to the of instruction fetch selections. So before to that of instruction fetch selections, we need to have a clear picture regarding to that of hardware example using this load operation and role of the control unit. So automatically the hardware execution deals with respect to this software involving of a register. So from register ALU operation, so then the immediate and offset operations. So from that immediate and offset operations, we need to have a clear picture over to that of memory address. So from that memory address, it will go to access to that of memory and finally the register file. So these things. So from the register to the register file, the contaminations of the ALU memory and memory address shows us that the different instructions uses what? The same hardware component in a different way. So next is the role of the control unit deals with things, which means the control unit coordinate what? The complete data movement inside this operation, which means from the register to that of register file, the the control unit coordinates the complete data movement and the operation inside the processor. So the final thing which we need to have a clear picture is from PC instruction memory going to be get fetched over there. So after that the instruction register, control unit, register file. So then the multiplexer option will perform. After that the ALU. So this arithmetic operation will give us a result, but that will be stored over to that of a register or a memory. So the thing that we need to have this multiplexer ALU or register file will do what are the function means. Here the register file does where are the operands. The ALU will perform the calculation, what calculation is to be get performed. So next is the multiplexer, which in MUX, where which selects us one input from multiple choices, which means that which input should be selected. The control unit performs how should all the components are get operated. So the things that in this lecture video we have gone through with the main hardware components. So three things as register, ALU and control unit and this thing instruction fetch. So those program counter, instruction register and the register file, ALU multiplexer and the control unit with instruction execution process. Also you have a clear picture how these components were work together when the processor execute ALU operation, arithmetic and the memory access instructions. So the next we are going to, in the upcoming video, we deal with respect to the tough instruction fetch and the execution steps. Thank you.